Now, in my years of foraging, it's going to grow in similar areas exactly like ghost pipe does, because again, it's a plant that grows without chlorophyll. And it's the same family, and it has the same medicinal benefits. But in my over 40 years of foraging, there's only one place that I have seen these grow prolifically, and they don't bloom in 4 to 6 cycles, because I went back to that area week after week after week for like the first 2 months of the summer. And the only thing that I spotted was the first bloom.
Yeah.
Now, however, just because I didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's a well-walked trail, and other people could have, foraged them before I got there. If they did have repeat cycle, but it's supposed to have similar life cycle. Again, it's one of those elusive ones, but it's not one that's come out of the closet totally. The one thing that differs this Hypopitys from Monotropa, is that Monotropa only has one flower. That's why it's Uniflora. Okay.
Yeah.
This has multiple flower heads on the same stem. See that right there? That looks like a ghost pipe.
Yes, look, I was just going to point that out. I don't want to interrupt you, but sometimes, like late in the season, they're small and they look like little red ghost pipes, and that's the way I found them last year. And right at the end of the season,
see how it's got the multiple heads?
Yeah,
they'll have multiple flowers on the head of it.
Here's what you might run into more realistically, like something like this, right?
Yes. Okay, that's at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they turn red towards the end of the season, and when it's dry and things like that. Why? Because they're associated with a red cap mushroom, a russula. So it's picking up all the carbohydrates and stuff like that, and it's turning the plant, which is normally like a translucent light yellow, golden, because a golden seal is another thing for this. Mm-hmm. They call it pine sap, things like that. Why? Because it grows next to pine. So you'll see these in real humus areas in variations of color, from a golden color all the way to the bright fuchsia pink. And like I said, same medicinal value as Monotropa, as the ghost pipe, so you can tincture these in the same way. You don't dual tincture these either. It's a plant, it's not a mushroom. So you can use it the same way. And, I make a tincture, but the thing is with these, like I said, you won't find these in ample amounts as you will ghost pipe. But are they there? I agree. If you see ghost pipe, you're going to find Dutchman's pipe, which is another common name for this, Dutchman's pipe.
Yeah, Dutchman's pipe. I think pinesap might be its most popular name.
But mostly you're going to find these in rolling hills of moss, where you find pine trees, white pine specifically, and if the russulas are still popping, there's your signifier. You can also find these too, because they're parasitic as well. They get their nutrients the same way that ghost pipe does.
Yeah, and the flowers, the picture I have, I was hoping to find. Now this is the erect stage where they're going to seed, correct? This is what they're going to look like. So and the flowers are going to go straight up, just like ghost pipe would.
Or like beach drops.
Yes. So that's why they look like false beach drops.
Yes, because when they're dry, they look like false beach drop, because they have flowers on alternating parts of the stem, like the beach drop does.
So you want to harvest the kind of this similar way. Now, is there a way
the same way?
Is there a way to tell like which ones are maybe hold more medicinal value than others, or what would you suggest? Because there's so many different variants and colors of this flowers. Ghost pipe's kind of standard.
Can I just tell you something? When you tincture these, the tincture is the same deep purple color as ghost pipe is.
That's what you said. I find that fascinating too. So I can't wait to hopefully make some.
Yeah,
see, that one's nice.
They have the same constituents. So of
Yeah.
course, when the alcohol, if you use the right solvent, you got to use a high proof solvent, 190 or better. Because, and the reason why you always have to use high proof solvents is alcohol isn't the medicine, it's the chemical part of the equation in order to get through those cell walls, because the stamen of these plants is very strong. So even when you cut it to get points of egress, to get more medicine in it, you know, you need a high proof solvent to break down those cellular walls of the plant in order to extract the medicinals. So when that's done and you use a high proof solvent, even and the ones that I harvested last year specifically were bright fuchsia. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Within an hour, the solution already started turning
Really?
And
same taste?
Same everything.
Everything, huh? I'm super curious to try it. Here's the map for ghost pipe for the US. And we're just going to quick look at some similarities. So here's the map for pinesap too. So you can almost tell that they grow hand in hand. So just like she said, if you can find it in one area, you can find it in another. The only thing that I found interesting, which is just probably this is iNaturalist.com. So this is people who find it. So pretty cool to see how people are spotting a lot of pinesap sightings in Arizona and New Mexico. And you can see a lot of ghost pipe hasn't been found in these areas. So I'm wondering, is this
people
one
just
area?
Aren't seeing it, you know.
Well, don't you think people who are documenting pinesap would easily be like, all right, ghost pipe too? You know what I mean? Wouldn't they, if they're already like doing that?
iNaturalist is self-reporting. It's user report.
Yeah. But if these guys are going out of their way to report pinesap, like they would definitely see ghost pipe if it was prolific there. Like,
not necessarily.
You know what I mean?
Remember how I told you it's a precursor to ghost pipe in New England? So these could be people that were on vacation, were only there temporarily, just happened to be there and caught Hypopitys, but weren't there.
But look how many counties.
User report, Daddy. User report.
And then, all right. Well, I'm calling you guys out. You got get some ghost pipe on the map. All right, so let's look at our area, Northeast. We are looking at ghost pipe right now. So we're sitting pretty good where we're at. You know, I'm down here, green all over. You're up here, green all over. I guarantee you if they had more information up into Canada, it would be all over Canada as well, correct?
Yeah, I found Hypopitys in Quebec province. So, you know, it is in Canada.
Yeah.
But see how it's not reported?
Yeah. Like just this little tiny.
Listen, you have to remember, just like people have never seen ghost pipe in their lives and they walk right over it. It's that saying in mycology. Once you see it, you never unsee it. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't grow there. It just hasn't been reported there. And it's elusive. If I were to see something that I don't regularly see, unless I'm somebody like me or a botanist or a mycologist, why would I report it? It's just a one-off I saw, and I barely will remember it. However, somebody like me would report it and would put it in. You know
I just think it's strange. I just think that's the only, when I'm looking at the map between, you know, when I'm looking at the plant, right, we're kind of comparing ghost pipe to pinesap, right? So this is the only difference I could find on this map, like a heavy reporting of pinesap in Arizona and New Mexico. I believe there's some different state forests in that area, but no one's reporting ghost pipe there. So I'm curious maybe what could be the reason. So you're saying non-reporting. I don't know, maybe it just doesn't grow there. Maybe pinesap only. I don't know. Maybe.
Could be.
This might be the pinesap alley right here.
Or somebody's trying to put you off the scent. Okay, let's get off of the map, shall we? Okay, because
let's wrap this up. What else we got?
Yeah, let's stick with the pictures for now.
There we go. So yeah, false beach drops, pinesap, yellow bird's nest. I've never heard of that.
Yep, bird's nest I have.
says it's scarce and rare in many areas. I mean, I can believe that it's more scarce and rare than ghost pipe, but I wouldn't say it's.
What's cool about it is in Victorian times, just like with ghost pipe, but more so Hypopitys, they referred to these as candy canes. And they used them in floral arrangements because of the bright fuchsia reddish color. And like ghost pipe, you know, we've already busted this myth that they're this, you know, petite, you know, fragile flower, because when you leave ghost pipe on a countertop for 2 weeks, guess what? It's still white. Okay. The same thing goes with Hypopitys. It retains that red and fuchsia color. So they look phenomenal in flower arrangements.
That's cool. Yeah, I would never think of using one as that for that.
Yeah,
but
they did. See,
fancy back in the day. You know what I mean?
They had it all down pat when it came to
they knew.
Natural nuts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they talked about it openly. They used them in flower arrangements, for crying out loud.
Well, we saw that mushroom fashion runway show, right, where everyone's dressed as mushrooms and stuff. Maybe we'll bring back the ghost pipe Monotropa fashion show soon. But yeah, just I don't know. I just want to go through this and kind of just see what we got. It does not contain chlorophyll. We talked about that.
Parasitic. It's
parasitic.
Nutrients. I got to look at that too while you're looking
Pretty
at
cool.
it.
It's not too. We already covered what's mostly on here. 10 to 35 centimeters tall. True stems are non-existent. So
it says here the two color forms overlap in flowering time. See, that's because when it starts to die back, it's going to get even more red color from the carbohydrates and the sugars from the plants, from the mushrooms, sorry. The color looms overlap in flowering time. It's suggested that yellow individuals are largely self-pollinating.
So what's that supposed to mean?
First of all,
what do you think they mean by that?
Bees are pollinating this.
It has been suggested, so that they suggested. All right, hold on. Who's suggesting that?
So you can't believe everything you see.
Well, you can fact check them. So this is coming from the American Journal of Botany.
Yeah, and remember, this is one of those elusive, heavy medicinal plants found in nature that you're going to get a lot of people with certificates and degrees. They're not going to talk a lot about because it puts their livelihood at risk. So some of the stuff that's on there, or, you know, that Wikipedia gathers for the logarithms and stuff like that, and even INAT, you're probably going to get a better result because it's self-reporting. Wikipedia just picks up logarithms that everybody talks about. So, you know, go to INAT, pick up a book, you know, and, you know, it's a perennial plant, you know, just like Monotropa Uniflora is. Ghost pipe is a perennial plant. This is a perennial plant. It needs to be pollinated. So because it has many flowers on it, it makes sense that you know, good wind blows by and yeah, they can pollinate each other. Okay, you probably don't need a bee for that as much because it's got multiple flowers.
Yeah, but look, here's a picture with a bee right there. Bam.
See?
Like why do There's always wild claims about this stuff. The deeper you look, and
everything needs to be pollinated. But you know, these as well. You can't recreate the growing environment.
No.
So if you think you're going to dig this up and take it home and plant it because you got pine trees and you got Russula, think again. Listen, it's only been in the Ericaceae family for a few years.
Yeah, not long. I don't think it's going to last long in there. I mean, where else would you put it? I think you got to create your own.
Yeah, it's switched back and forth. People thought it was a mushroom 10 years ago.
I think it needs its own kingdom, like.
Well, remember what I said about anybody, any botanist, anybody, mycologist, anybody that's got a degree and a certification, they're not really going to talk about this plant a lot. So even though we have genetic markers, we've got genetic and DNA testing on plants and stuff like that, do you think that they're really going to talk about this?
No.
They'd
rather let somebody else talk about it.
Yeah. So it's up to us as, as people to start bringing more awareness to this plant instead of the shroud of mysticism in the closet that has been shoved into, because nobody wants to talk about it, because it's going to kill Western farmers in terms of pain meds. But people have been making such a big deal about the guanotoxins, the toxins that are in it. Same type of toxins that are in blueberries.
Yeah.
No, and so they use that in turn to scare people, because that's the only thing that's been verified about this plant, not the alkaloids.
So there's 15 species in the Monotropidae category that's inside the Ericaceae family. So they're kind of just
that stuff
like this needs to be
chemical components.
Like I think they need to go through this family and get them out of this this realm.
Listen, they will.
But I don't know. I don't know shit. Somebody's gonna be like, "Are you kidding me?" But I think they're different. I think they're flower. I mean, maybe I need to study more about these other ones, but I don't know. I just don't think a few of these Monotropa flowers belong anywhere near some of this stuff, but it does make sense. It does make sense, but at the same time, it's weird to me.
That's a large controversy now among foragers and botanists and mycologists, that it doesn't belong in here, that they need their own classification. They need their own genus and species. That's it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else like this out there. So they just put it in something and reclassify it every couple of years, because nobody dares create this species on its own, because everybody's going to be medicating themselves and they're going to put out pharma out of business. Nobody's going to be using anxiety meds anymore. Nobody's going to be using pain meds anymore. Nobody's going to be using Tylenol anymore, because this does it all and it's for free.
As long as they can learn and study and use, practical knowledge they can gain, not hard.
No, not hard at all.
And that's the worst part. It's not hard, and it's not, we're not sitting here talking about some crazy thing. It's pretty simple. So we're just normal people too. We utilize this plant, and Janice
I took some this morning. I had
Janice, yeah. We met online too, so it's pretty cool.
I started to get one of those weird migraines.
Yeah.
And so I'm down here. I've got my tincture, case and stuff like that. So I told my daughter-in-law, I said, I'm going to take some right now. So I took 3 drops, and in under a minute, gone.
Yeah.
Headache gone. 3 drops. Tylenol doesn't even do that.
So these 3 Monotropa plants, yeah, I agree, dude. It works for onset headaches for sure. So here's the 3.
Hypopitys, Uniflora, and Cochinas.
So these 3 need to get out of the blueberry family, in my opinion, and be on their own. What do you think?
Absolutely.
This one grows in the south, so this would be cool to go searching for.
In South America or in
south of us, like from what I did research on a long time ago. See if I can. This might be a whole different video, so we'll save this because I've researched this plant recently. I don't want to waste it all on this video, but long story short, this is your 3. I think these 3 need to get out of there.
And out of those 3, by the way, there are different subspecies that they've done genetic testing in different countries, like the ones in South America versus the ones here in the U.S.
And they're different too.
They're different genetically. So they're proposing even having a new category for the ones in different countries.